right. I do want to also get into this Anthony Edwards thing. Anthony Edwards, man, this show. I'm probably gonna be done in about 30 minutes, right? I'm gonna open the phone lines up probably for maybe this topic, maybe the next one. I don't know. But Anthony Edwards, man, he put his foot in his mouth. I mean, he said a lot of stuff, man. He talk a lot. But he was doing an interview. I can't remember who he was doing the interview with, but his quote is at the bottom of the screen. It says, "I didn't watch it back." Well, this was when he was asked. Oh, it was Wall Street Journal he was speaking with, but they asked him about this era versus the other era. He said, "I didn't watch it back in the day," which he probably didn't because I think he's under 25, which means he was born in 2000. At the probably around 2000. I think he's like 23, 24. So he was born 2000, 2001. So Michael Jordan retired 98, came back in 2001, maybe 2, right? By the time Anthony Edwards started watching basketball, there wasn't no Michael Jordan in the league. So at the earliest, he probably could have seen some of the late Kobe, but mostly he's probably been watching KD, LeBron, and Steph, right? So the way we look at Dr. J for my age group, right? I was born in the 80s. The way we look at Dr. J, yeah, we seen some highlights, but I didn't live through his career, so I wasn't able to hear what was being said at the barbershops at that time. I wasn't watching live games and hearing what the commentators were saying. I wasn't hearing what the sports shows were saying the next morning. I wasn't reading the paper to hear what they were saying. You get what I'm saying? Like that stuff, that type of stuff count. Like I can remember the chatter around the Bulls versus Blazers finals game, and I remember one of my uncles coming over and having that conversation with me. We was talking, and he was telling me how Drexler was going to bust Michael Jordan's tail, and how he was saying Jordan couldn't shoot threes, but Drexler could, and like that was the talk. Like people were saying Jordan and Drexler was on the same level, but Drexler is a better shooter. So that's what makes it so special when you see in game 1, Michael Jordan break the record for finals threes in the first half when he knocked down 6 straight threes. It wasn't 6 straight, but there was 6 threes in the first half, and he was knocking them down. And he gave that famous shoulder shrug when he looked into the camera. Like, that means something to you because you know that he had been hearing the chatter on how he couldn't shoot. And for him to come out and say, all right, y'all think I can't shoot? Here's 6 threes in the first half. That means something. If you didn't live through that, you could look at those 6 threes and just think it was just random. But no, he was challenged to that. We're going to let him shoot, and we don't think he can hit it. And everyone thought he couldn't shoot, and he hit 6 threes and made him pay. So that type of stuff means something. Like, dang, man, he stepped up like that. It means something. So when you don't live through that, you miss some of that. So he said, I didn't watch back in the day, so I can't speak on it, which is funny because that's exactly what he's going to do, is speak on it. They say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill. You know what I mean? So that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, they were like, oh my God. But now everyone has skill. So he was saying it was tougher back then based on what they say. He don't know though. But the thing is it wasn't tough because of skill. It was tough because of defensive skill, because of defensive physicality, because the league was tough, and it was a tougher era where they let you defend, tough and physical. That's why it was tough. Not because people were skilled, which they were skilled, but guess what? If you're super skilled, but I'm allowed to physically hand check you with either my hand, and when they changed the rule where you had to use your forearm, that forearm still worked. You know, I remember saying Derek Harper picked somebody up full court, and it was forearm in his back all the way up the court. Like you had to turn your back to get past half court and walk it up and zigzag that way, just to walk it up on Derek Harper. He was a great defender. So that's what made it tough. You can't just come down and just get in your bag on anybody, because my hand is in your. First of all, if you get close to me and you try to get by me, I can arm bar you to stop your momentum, and then take it back off. Or I can arm bar you, and if the ball is right there, boom, I'm gone. Can't do that now. They changed the rules, so you have to let someone get in their bag on you, and you bet not touch them. Right. So that's why it was tougher. More skilled players don't make it tougher. Defense make it tougher, not skill. The name of the game is the score, and the opposing team is trying to stop you from scoring. If you handicap them and say you can't defend, then this is what this league is, what we're looking at. But if you don't handicap them and say you can be as tough on defense as they can be on offense, then it's a tougher league, right? But he said Michael Jordan was the only one with skill, but now everyone is skilled. Man, this is such an ignorant response. I mean, like I can't believe he said that, and that just goes to show you how man. I'm trying not to say that the IQ in this era is just. I mean, this is the era where the founding fathers of the NBA and the people who paved the way for you started getting disrespected. I mean, I was in the military, and we don't even disrespect the people that came before us. We don't think we were smarter than them. We don't think we did stuff better than them. Like everything that we use, every process that we use, they built it for us through trial and error. You got to respect them, people. I don't remember the era before this one disrespecting the era before them. All I remember is them paying homage. I don't remember anybody from the previous era going to the era before them and saying, I'm better than him or I'm the GOAT. Like all this started with this era. This LeBron, Steph, and KD era. I'm better than this dude. I'm the GOAT. They was trash. They were plumbers. Like, this is insane, the type of people we got, right? So what's funny about this is Isaiah Thomas, and I don't even know if this is real account because he ain't got no blue check, but I follow this on X, and it appears to be the real Isaiah. But he responded and said, propaganda works, so be careful what you choose to believe. So I guess he took offense to it. And what's funny about Isaiah taking offense to it is because Isaiah is one of the people, one of the catalysts who's made it okay to come at the previous era. Like the way that he talked about Michael Jordan selfishly because he got something against Michael Jordan, gave the younger guys permission to disrespect his era. Now he want to come and defend his era. Well, you're the guy who opened up Pandora's box. If Michael Jordan was the number one guy for your era, the fact that you come out to disrespect him as often as you do, and you're of the era, has given everyone else permission to do it. Right? If someone comes at LeBron, KD, well, I just say LeBron because I'm not even gonna say KD. And in the fans' eyes is on the same level as LeBron, right? So if someone from this era just start attacking LeBron the way Isaiah attacks MJ, and often as he does, that's going to give them permission to disrespect the whole era. If you disrespect the guy that's the king of this era, you might as well disrespect the whole era. So Isaiah made it okay for people to disrespect MJ because he was doing it. So I can disrespect the whole era. And that's now they coming out to Larry Bird, JJ Redick running his mouth talking about Larry Bird wasn't all this and that. Dominique Wilkins wasn't this. Bob Cousy wasn't this. They was playing against plumbers. And I'm talking about some of the most craziest things. And Isaiah, you can't fight back now because you're the one who opened up this Pandora's box. As he comes with more tweets, right? Because everyone's saying that the skill is in this area. It wasn't no skill in no era. which I disagree with, man. It was very highly skilled players, very, very skilled players, right? In the 90s, some in the 80s as well, but definitely the 90s and the early 2000s, very skilled players. And I agree with Isaiah. He said the only skill emphasized more is the 3-point shot, creating the illusion that the athlete and skills have magically evolved into another athletic species, which is crazy because people will be like, oh man, they're faster, they jump higher, and they're stronger, which is not true. No, there's still nobody stronger than Wilt. There's still nobody faster than MJ. There's still nobody that jump higher than MJ. He still got the highest vertical. Like, the fact that we're just assuming that everyone's bigger, faster, and stronger is not true. It's not true at all. The only difference is they changed the rules to where you could see it more. You couldn't use your speed as much as you wanted to in that league. First and foremost, it was 4 people in the paint waiting on you. Your center and your power forward and whoever was guarding them was in the paint almost at all times. So when was you go run full speed to the rim? And then I'm hand checking you all the way up the court. You're walking the ball up. I mean, everything that was changing was based on, let's speed the pace up. Let's open the floor up. Let's shoot more threes. Let's get more dunks and layups. Let's move the post man out. Let's make it a little soft on defense. You can't hand check, so you got freedom of movement. You can run off screens without getting touched. We're going to change it from 10 seconds to 8-second backcourt. So, you get up faster. Everything was changed. And Adam Silver admitted, I changed everything so a skilled player could get off. And he used Steph Curry as an example. A skilled player like Steph Curry is not good basketball if he can't showcase his skill. So a physical guy being able to come beat Steph up is not what I want to show on TV. I want to show Steph getting loose and tearing heads up. That's the type of basketball he wanted to show. At the bottom, I can argue today that the taller players are less skilled in the low post and in defensive play. I agree 100%. The big men, so the players are not more skilled today. What it is the big men have abandoned it. They've abandoned the low post skill and traded it for 3-point shooting. That's the only thing. And we think just because big men are shooting threes that they're more skilled, but they don't have the low post skill anymore. The only players that got low post skill is Jokic and Embiid. And we don't even know how good their low post skill is because they're not playing against nobody worthy of guarding a real 7-footer like that. Rudy Gobert is the closest thing they can. It's the only 7-footer other than Embiid that can get on the floor enough to defend. There's nobody else. Other than that, Embiid is getting guarded by Bam Adebayo. He's 6'8", 6'9". Jokic getting guarded by freaking Sabonis, the little one. He's 6'8". Jokic getting guarded by Draymond. Golden State Warriors don't even have a real center. They bring in Looney sometime. He's 6'9". But for the most part, it's 6'6", 6'7" Draymond Green trying to guard Jokic because he's tough enough to do it. They starting Kuminga at power forward. He gets switched off. He got to guard Jokic. So I don't even know how good the centers that we think are good. I don't even know how good they are on the post because ain't nobody guarding them. Sengun he do got low post skill. Yeah, I give you that. Right, but other than them 3, the best one after that might be freaking Zubac, and he can't even stay on the floor alone because he's too big. They got to take him out and go small. Yeah, so it's crazy just because they traded in the low post skill for 3-point shooting. We think that they're more skilled, and then the wing players, there's nothing that they're doing now that they wasn't already doing. We had shooters as good as Steph Curry as 3-point shooters. Mark Price was one of them. Mahmoud was one of them. But they just couldn't shoot threes that often because they played the game from the inside out. Threes was just not, part of the offense to just come down and start jacking them up. Right? Handling the ball. We had ball handlers. We had Stevie Francis. Lord have mercy, his handle was nice. And then he jumped at the gym like Ja Morant. Steve Francis was Ja Morant before Ja Morant, but with a better jump shot and a tighter handle and probably with a higher vertical, right? We had Stevie Francis. We had Nick Van Exel, Nick the Quick, handles crazy. We had Baron Davis, handles crazy, jumping out the gym. Right, so we've had guys jumping out of the gym from the point guard position, and we had people with tight handles. We've even had big men that could pass and shoot threes. But guess what? You don't need your big man to do if you got a point guard that pass. You don't need him to pass. You need him to post up. Right, that's why all the dope players are there. Like we've had skill. So to say MJ was the only skilled one, I'm not even going to use the examples of like the obvious people. Like we know the most skilled center in history is Hakeem. We know the most skilled power forward in history is Tim Duncan and Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale taught Kevin Garnett his post moves, right? We know the most skilled small forward ever. I might get it to KD. So we got a new school in there. I think it might have been Bird, but I'm okay with it being Bird or KD. Shooting guard, most skilled shooting guard ever, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. And the most skilled point guard ever, I might get at the Kyrie. So we got two. If we make a starting five of the most skilled guys by position, three of them coming from the 90s. A big man that can shoot threes and post up and play defense, Rasheed Wallace. I mean, like it's crazy that Ant-Man would even say that, right? And I got some footage of some of these dudes. So I'm not gonna use the Hall of Famers. I'm gonna use the guys that y'all probably don't even know. Don't even know about. This Steve Francis in his bag. This is Steve Francis in his bag, putting Jason Terry on his butt, making him fall. You know what I mean? That is ridiculous. What's after that? Allen Houston. Look at him. Look how many dribbles hit. One dribble. That's all you need. Look how many people is in the paint. One dribble. Look at, like, you can't go get layups. You can't run full speed and get layups with a high screen and roll. Right? That ain't how they played. Right? This is look at that work. Everything was, look at this. How many dribbles? One dribble and a finger roll. One dribble. No screen. 1, 2, pull up. He's not even getting he's not even getting his feet wet with paint. He's not even getting in the paint. No dribbles. Pull up. Off a screen. You get what I'm saying? Like, one dribble pull-ups was good work. One. Look at that. And the fader. Got Rick Fox on him again. Look at that. Like, this is skill. It takes more skill to score in a phone booth than it do to score in a huge parking lot. Like, he's in a phone booth and he got fouled on that three, moving without the ball. Like, he had the skill to do it in the post. That's Kobe. Come here. I'm giving Kobe work. He's got the skill to do it with the ball, without the ball, in the post, moving with, off a screen, mid-range, 3-point, and in the paint. Look, I mean, he don't even need to dribble the ball, and he's not calling for no screen. Look at that. Moving without the ball, like Reggie. So he got the skill to move without the ball like Reggie and Rip Hamilton. He got the skill to get in the post like Michael Jordan and hit the mid-range. He's got dribble pull-up work, and he's got 3-point work like a real shooter, like Dale Curry or Reggie or something like that. Nick the Quick. If Nick the Quick was in the league right now, he would be a top 3-point guard in the league. I would still have SGA over him. I would probably still have Steph over him. I would probably still have Kyrie over him. But after that, it'd be Nick the Quick. He'd be a top 5-point guard. He'd be number 4. I'll probably put De'Aaron Fox at 5. Well, because De'Aaron Fox is bigger, I'll probably put Fox at 4 and Nick the Quick at 5. But that's how good he is. But Michael Jordan was the only skilled one. Come on, man. Like this is crazy work. Nick the Quick, right? Look at Derek Coleman. He's big enough and powerful enough to dunk on Shaq and post up. But also, look at it. He dunking on Shaq. Derek Coleman. But agile enough to do a reverse like that, finish on the other end, pass like Chris Webber. Look at that. A behind the legs pull up, right? Power dunking. Watch him handle the ball. Look at this. He go get this. This is a step back. A step back, almost a 3. That's a step back jump shot. There's handling the ball. Nice pass. The dimes. Like, this is crazy. This man said there was nobody else with skill but MJ. Look how he handled the ball. Behind the back. He handled the ball like a guard. He handled the ball better than Lamar Odom. And a pull up. And then the pull up. Then the up and under. Like, what didn't he have? Look at this. Up and under like Duncan. What didn't he have? The only thing that got in his way is honey buns. Watch him handle the ball off this rebound. Watch him handle the ball. Guard come and try to reach. Nope. All the way. And then the pass. Like, come on, man. This is crazy. Then we can go to foreigners because some people think here's Dragon Petrovic just going at MJ. Some people think that these are the best foreigners we seen, the best Europeans. No. Petrovic was a problem. Look at him. Hands down, man down, Jordan. Petrovic was a problem. Behind the back. The passing, the shooting, the toughness. Like, we've even had dope European players. Right? Those are wing guys. If I was to make a all-European team, I would have Arvydas Sabonis at my center. I would have Dirk as my power forward. I would have Dragon Petrovic at my 3 guard. I would have Ginobili. Here, speaking of Ginobili, here's a dude that's left-handed that play like Ginobili. Valens Monachunas, whatever his name is. Nasty. Y'all don't even know about these people because guess why y'all didn't hear these names? Because more athletic, bigger, stronger, tougher American players was bullying them. Like, they could be so good and so skilled, but the physicality, you would not even see how good and skilled they were because of the physicality. We would wear them down, especially the big men like Vlade Divac and all them, Dino Rogers. We would wear them down with physicality and trash talk and intimidation and all that stuff, man. And eventually, you just didn't see how great they were. But when you change the rules to where a guy like that can cook everybody, open floor, you can't touch them and all this stuff, it looks different. And we got somebody like Luka that looked like he's better than Dragon Petrovic, but he's really not. Here's Dino Rogers, 6'11" power forward that was just phenomenal. This was when he first got to Boston when he was a little overweight. When he lost weight, he was even better. Low post moves, phenomenal. This is what Jokic would have been if he played in the 90s. Nobody was going to let Jokic run point in the 90s, so you never would have he never would have been averaging 8 assists. What point guard that's supposed to make his money running the offense is going to let a center get all the assists? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. This is Dino Rogers. Y'all didn't even know about Dino Rogers. If you was my age watching these games, you would have known how good Dino Rogers was. Dino was killing. Looking just like Jokic's little fat self out there. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is Dino, right? And then we can get to some more. Like Dino is cooking, man. Dino can hoop. But my favorite big man European center of all time is Arvydas Sabonis, right? Arvydas Sabonis. Let's get to Arvydas real quick. There's Arvydas. Took Shaq to the hole. Now, this is what's unique about Arvydas. Arvydas got drafted in 86. He's Lithuania, right? His son is in the league now. Domantas Sabonis. That's his son. This is the daddy. The way you see him now is 10 years after he got drafted, right? He got drafted in 86. He didn't get to the NBA to 96, right? So now, after several knee surgery, like his knees were gone. Look at how good this dude passed. Everybody's like, oh, we've never seen a guy pass like Jokic. Yes, we have. Arvidas passed like that. Vlade Divac passed like that. Chris Webber passes like that. There's a lot of big men that can pass like that, right? So Arvidas, I think, is a better center than Jokic. He can shoot better. He posts better. He plays defense better. He pass better. He just does everything better than Jokic. Look at that stroke. Pow. It's crazy, right? But this is him after he ain't got no knee. He can't even jump no more. But he was a slim, real athlete when he first got drafted. He was 22, 1986 he got drafted. But which is another thing that's kind of interesting because they gave that graphic during the Olympics this year where it was like that this Olympic team played against more NBA players than the Dream Team. And what you don't remember about what was going on in the 90s is you could draft a player from overseas, but it took years for him to get cleared to come over here and play. So it was people getting drafted and you wouldn't see them for 6, 7, 8 years. So that's what happened with Arvidas. He got drafted in 86. He didn't get to Portland until 96. Right. By the time he got to Portland, he ain't had no knees no more. And he had put on a lot of weight, right? But he was still effective and still phenomenal with not being able to run as fast and without being able to jump as high and all that stuff, man. And he was the only person I ever seen that could deal with the physicality of Shaq, but he just couldn't move lateral enough if Shaq wanted to do that. But as far as Shaq trying to go through his chest and dunk on him, that wasn't happening. Like Shaq couldn't move this dude, man. He was trying. He did like Arvidas did a better job than Yao Ming on Shaq did. But let's see how Arvidas looked when he first got drafted. It's gonna show him before he got hurt. This is Arvidas. That's Arvidas before he got hurt. Look at him. Look how high he get on his dunk and then shatter the glass. This dude did a drop step and had his head at the rim and shattered the glass. Look how slim he is. Imagine if Portland would have got that guy. He don't have no knee brace on. He moves better. He runs faster. Imagine if they get that guy in Portland. Look how he dunking it. Lord have mercy. Ain't no way. Ain't no way you go say that the most skilled players is now and not in the 90s. The 90s had great skilled players in the 90s for sure. Right. So Anthony Edwards, man, I'm sorry, bro. You was wrong on this one. You gotta do more research. Yeah. Super chat. Nino Jackson, thanks for the super chat, brother. Woodsman Ball and LeBron tried to recruit Wade, Bosh, and Melo. All of them were in the top 5 of his draft class. That's a fact. Caller from North Carolina.
What's up, Mel?
What's up?
This time is you taking calls?
Yeah, let's open the phone lines up. Yeah, let me get this last super chat. Calvin Dickinson, $5 super chat. Kevin Durant is elite, but what happened with Brooklyn Nets? He definitely had 2 elite scorers. Was it coaching or leadership? No, it was injury. I mean, you seen what happened to Kyrie Irving? They was up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks, and everybody got hurt except Kevin Durant. Even Blake couldn't help him. But yeah, that's what happened. But yeah, go ahead, brother.
Okay, how's it going, man?
I'm good, man. Hanging in there.
Oh, all right. I just happened to be up late last night, tonight, and caught you. And, one thing you said that was everything you saying is on point, man. You know, I'm 60 years old. I'm an old school basketball head. I love everything about basketball, but everything you're saying is fine. But this one thing I wanted to point out that people really talk about. I hear them say that the players overseas now have caught up to the players now, so the gap is, there's not so much of a gap. If what they're saying is true, then that means that the players overseas had closed the gap because the guys over here hadn't got better.
Right.
The reason why is because it's always we always supposed to maintain a gap. If that's true, if the players, if they're saying Anthony Edwards think the players in nowadays in the NBA are so much better than the players before, then that means that there still ought to be a gap between the players now and then.
Correct.
Now, I don't think that there was much of a gap. I don't buy into the theory that the players overseas have gotten better. There's a lot of factors, but one thing overseas, they had a trapezoid lane, which made the big men. They were always skilled overseas. The big men had to have outside moves because they couldn't stand the paint because of the trapezoid lane. Now, the reason why the big men, it was hard for them to play the guys from overseas. It was hard for them to come to the NBA because of what you said, the physicality of the league. That was one of the things that they had to take out of the league in order for the guys overseas to come over here in abundance. Now you take a guy like Sabonis, a guy like Drazen, and Dino Raja, like you show, those guys can handle the physicality over here so they can play over here. I think that was, but far as skill and being able to shoot and things like that, those guys always been able to shoot.
Correct.
Now they talking about how many pro players were over there and stuff like that. No, that's not even the truth either. I played with a lot of back then. I'm from Kinston, matter of fact, and I think you might have heard of Kinston, North Carolina.
I played a team in Kinston. I'll tell you about it later on, but go ahead.
Okay. The reason why I brought that up because you know how many NBA players came from this small town.
Jerry Stackhouse, his little cousin.
That's right. And I used to school him too.
Oh, yeah?
I used to school him. Donald Ingram's father, Brandon Ingram's father, Donald.
Correct.
And stuff like that. People say they never seen nobody could shoot like Curry and stuff like that. Well, Donald used to shoot better than Curry. Donald was the type person that the soon he come across half court, you had to be on him because he will pull the shoot. The reason why Donald couldn't make it to the NBA was because Donald couldn't handle the physicality. That was the factor. It was initiation when you came into the NBA. Correct. I don't care how much skill you had in.
Correct.
You wasn't going to get called from the referees. They broke you in. You had to prove that you could handle the physicality. I know. So all the guys who couldn't the guy who played point guard with Lynn Byers, Keith Gatlin, I played against him, played with him. Keith went overseas, played for Mike D'Antoni for 8 years. They won 8 straight championships over there. So all the guys who couldn't make the physicality of the league, think about this. There wasn't a D-League for them to fall on. Those guys went overseas.
You know my favorite point guard in college of all time could not handle the physicality. You know who it was?
Who was that?
Randolph Childress.
Oh man, what you talking about?
Oh my God, man!
What you talking about?
I mean,
it wasn't the Tim Duncan show.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the Randolph Childress show.
Imagine being on a team with Tim Duncan and you're the guy. That's how good Randolph was.
What are you talking about? And think about what Randolph Childress would do in the league right now.
Oh my God, man!
Now, a lot of factors. This is why I said these guys talk. Like you said, everything you said is on point, man. I agree with you 1,000%. Think about what would happen if there wasn't no restricted circle back then. Back then, like you said, the big men can stay in the lane. There were always 4 people in the lane. You just couldn't take off. That's what made it so impressive what Jordan was doing, because he didn't care whether you were in the lane or not. He was going to dunk on top of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He went over you. When you went to your peak jump, you coming down, he's still going up. You know, he just did. These guys got hops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan had air. You know, it's different.
Yeah.
Like Kobe. Kobe can go up in the air and he reacts to what you do. He can do something else. But Jordan did it better than anyone. That's why he was such a great finisher. You know, so Anthony Edwards and stuff like that. He's part of this new generation that has the way he sees things, his worldview. All that is tied into basketball in this generation that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Because everything that they getting it. They don't even sit down and watch whole games like we used to do. That's all we did.
No, they don't, man. Like they're not studying history either, man. Like
right.
like that. The farthest they go is probably Kobe. That's the farthest they go. Well, I don't even think these new guys watching Kobe. They're watching KD and Paul George. The new guys that are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" with long arms. Brandon Miller, either Carmelo Anthony's son. Like these guys that are going to be 6'7" guys in the pro. They're watching Paul George.
That's right.
They're not even going back. Like Michael Jordan said that he studied David Thompson. He said that he studied Dr. J. He said he studied big guards in the post like Oscar. Like he studied like 5 or 6 different guards. Jerry West.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to add something to what you're saying right now, just for you to think about. Because I'm going on 60 years old. You're not quite as old as I am, but I understand you still back in that era where you did the same thing that they did. Mm-hmm. We knew the history of the game.
Yeah.
We loved the game. We watched all the games. We know who Pistol Pete is. You talk about skilled guys.
Yeah.
Pistol Pete, one of the most skilled guys ever done it.
Correct.
You know, his daddy used to drive down the highway 50 miles an hour and have him dribbling the basketball on the asphalt. Which one of these guys can do something like that? These guys were magicians. But like you said, because of the physicality, all that skill couldn't show because guys were able to armbar you, knock you out of the air. You had to get broken into as a rookie. Your rookie season was your hardest season in the NBA.
Last thing before I let you go, you brought that up, right? You brought up a rookie getting initiated and meeting that physicality. Is that what you seeing? What they was doing in the WNBA with Caitlin Clark, but the media has.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah,
it's no different. But because of this Caitlin Clark, and she's the darling of the league, they exploiting it. But anyone that come in with that type of height back then would get tested just like Caitlin. That's exactly what's happening to her. Yeah. And this is why I'm saying this is a new generation because they lack the history of the game. They think they seeing something new. Man, we've seen this and done that. Been there, done that. You talk, and one other, just before I let you go, that's just one thing I want to say too. You said something also that you didn't have to go to the Hall of Famers to find skilled guys. Steve Francis was a beast. Mm-hmm. You know, there you talk about guys like Glenn Robinson. You talk about guys like Grant Hill. Yep. You know, you talk even go further back from the expansion of the Dallas Mavericks when they had guys like Jimmy Jackson and all these guys right here. These were some serious, and they was big guys, you know, who could handle the physicality. Yep. These guys right here, they long, lanky, 7 feet, shooting jumpers and all that. People say, "Oh, that looked good," because Wembanyama was shooting jumpers, but he would serve his team a whole lot better if he in the post using that 7'6", and he's not that good doing that, especially not against them. The other thing, the last thing, there was only 2 other things I want to say to you. One, real quick, skill also has been able to use the glass. How many guys shoot off the glass at an angle if they can't get all the way to the hoop? They don't even really have an in-between game because they ain't got the skill level to understand how to score in the middle of traffic. Jordan
and how much space do they need, and how many dribbles do they need, and how many screens do they need just to get?
Man,
come on,
man. To get their shot off, Man, they sit there and dance, and then not only just the dribbles they take, but then they take 4 steps after they finish dribbling, and them steps are backwards. I remember back in the day, that was the rule of the game, is that once you take them 2 steps have to be forward towards the hoop. That was the rule. You couldn't take 2 steps backwards. You had to be going towards the hoop.
And
that was the rule.
As soon as they see a good defender on them, what they doing? Calling for that screen. Come get him off me. Screen.
Everything is about the high pick and roll.
Yeah.
These guys, they had to learn how to score in a congested area, and it takes skill to learn how to do that. The last thing I want to say is that I see what Anthony Edwards, all the high jumping big dudes can do, but the last time I checked, the 3 guys that's always, for the last 3 or 4 years, that's always in the conversation for MVP or best player in the league, it's Giannis, it's Embiid, and the Joker. Which means that even though the Joker is slow and don't jump high, he's killing them. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand that it's his skill. If a person doesn't have athleticism and he's playing in that league, he got to be skilled in order to be doing what he's doing. Yeah. That's what skill is. These guys are born with talent. They come out the womb jumping high and everything and think that's skill. That's not skill. Skill is when you take that talent. Talent is God-given ability. That's what Anthony Edwards and all of them have. They think they can handle the ball and say, I got ball handling skills, but 80% of the time you're carrying the basketball. Correct. And that will be called back then. Correct. Not now. Correct. And they don't understand that you have to dribble the ball. They just don't get it, Mel. That's my point. And I just want to say that I got it off my chest and stuff like that, man. But I was sitting there watching your show, watching you say this, and everything you say is on point, bro. Yeah. So keep up the good work and stuff like that. And I guess it's an uphill battle, just like everything. You got Trump supporters nowadays. They believe in Trump and stuff. They believe if you can fool them and they buy Donald Trump, they can buy LeBron James too. I'm just telling you, that's what type of generation you in. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with basketball. It's that these guys are buying into the disinformation campaigns, whether it's basketball, politics, or whatever, and stuff like that. So just keep up the good work, Mel, and stuff like that, and I'll be checking in with you from time to time. I love your show, bro. Take care now.
Appreciate it, bro.
Blessed.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so the thing, and Tyson Thomas, I left this comment up there because you're right. Was it 88 or 86? I can't remember which Olympic it was, but yeah, 88. Yeah, they won gold. Like, this dude won gold. He led a team to gold. This is part of the reason why Dream Team had to happen in 92. You know what I mean? Like, this dude was killing. And it was definitely a good call. So another thing I wanted to just mention about let me get this call. Caller from California. Who's this?
What's up, man? It's Myron.
Myron, all right, man. Hold on real quick. Let me say this one thing to everybody that's listening.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So the last thing I will say before I let the caller go is that the way that Adam Silver wanted to change the defense, and maybe David Stern started wanting to do it, but Adam Silver actually made the change where he was allowing more scoring and less defense, right? The weird thing about that is the stats, if you change the way defense is played, the stats, you got to make an adjustment in your head, because think of it this way. Imagine if I just make a rule change in boxing to where you can't block a punch with your hands anymore. You gotta dodge it with you gotta bob and weave. You can't use your hands to block the punch. This is your defense. I'm taking it away from you because I want more head punches for excitement. I want more knockouts. Like, imagine if I changed the rule for more knockouts, right? That's basically what the basketball commissioner did. I'm changing the defense for more points, because I feel like if we get more points, we'll get more people watching. So imagine you can't block anymore. You can't use this for defense. You have to just bob and weave, right? And then someone plays in that era or fights in that era for 10 plus years, and we're sitting here talking about how many knockouts he got versus how many knockouts Muhammad Ali got, and we're trying to say he's better. And imagine if that happened and you still don't have more knockouts than Ali. That's basically what's going on with this era. We get a tougher era of defense, and Michael Jordan averaging 30 plus points in that tougher era. And then we get a LeBron in this era where we're allowing them to score, and Michael Jordan still averaged more points than you and still won more rings than you. How are we even having a debate on someone in this era being better than Michael Jordan? It's not even possible. All right, go ahead, Carlo.
Man, you cooking, man. Hey, I just want to say, man, thank you for saying what you was talking about earlier about the generation stripping down the legacy of the NBA in general. I really think is disrespectful, and I think it's kind of short-sighted. I think, you know, in some years down the line, a lot of people are going to regret saying the things that they said. Anthony Edwards, prime example, like he's going to, you know, they're always going to be talking about this for the rest of his career just because he's such a high profile player. And, you know, and that just lacks of not knowing your history. I mean, the best look back at, you know, if you talk about football or basketball, whatever sport, if you consider yourself one of the greats, you got to see the greats, you know, do their thing. And so I just felt that you were spot on by highlighting that. And I think it's ushered by, you know, today's superstars in basketball trying to promote themselves. But I think when we look at basketball with our eyes, we see the truth. And then lastly, I just want to say, I actually have a question. Because people talk a lot about Steph Curry being the best point guard ever. I think he's one of the best players ever, like all around. One of the best point guards ever, but he's not a true point guard in a point guard sense. And so my question to you is, because I mean, there's no way Magic could be erased from that pantheon of the GOAT point guard. My question to you, Mel, is let's just say hypothetically, and I hate these hypotheticals, but if you take Magic, pull Bron off the starting lineup, and have him play the point guard, right? And I think no matter who is the second guard, whether it's Curry or Ann or whoever, Magic is playing that point guard. I think Team USA wins by a comfortable margin. Like it's not even close because Magic knows how to put everybody in their spots. He's not thinking about himself. He's thinking about his team and getting everybody in rhythm, and he doesn't turn over the ball. And so that's the one thing that people overlook when they overlook Magic is this dude's assist turnover ratio is crazy. Yeah. And so he did all those razzle dazzle passes and stuff without turning over the ball that much. And so I think if he had the best players in the world, which is in the United States, there's no way he wouldn't utilize the tools in his tool shed. And I think that I think it's complete cap for people to say that the world is caught up when one, we're not putting our best lineups up, out there at all times, and we're mismanaging our lineups at the same time. So we're handicapping ourselves in a way. And so I would never say, put it this way, if the women are still blowing their players out, we should be too. Why aren't we? It's because we're not managing our teams right. We're not putting our best players out there, and we're not playing the right kind of style. And so that's all I got to say.
No, I agree with you 100% on that last part. We're not playing the right style of offense. You know what I mean? Like our league is soft. Our league don't allow physical defense, and then we got to get used to it during the Olympic play. So, we that's an adjustment. And then, I mean, running the offense the way we run offense, like high screen and roll, and that's it. Like when you look at the offense that Popovich run when he had his horses, when he had Duncan and Parker and Ginobili and all that stuff, that's great offense. I even give credit to Steve Kerr for the offense they run. I give credit to Denver for the offense they run. But other than that, Oh, and Miami with Eric Spoelstra. But other than that, who's running good offense? Maybe Sacramento with Mike Brown, maybe. But other than that, nobody's running good offense. It's high screen and roll everywhere. Dallas got the worst offense ever. Give the ball to my best player, spread the floor, high screen and roll, and then my second star, you just got to find 30 points somewhere. I don't know how. We're not gonna call no plays for you. You got to find 30 points, but we got to make sure Luka get his points. It's the same thing that Harden was doing in Houston. Same thing LeBron has been doing. Get the ball to our best player, high screen and roll. Let him find all the shooters. And my second best player, in order for us to win, you got to go find 25 points. That's horrible. That's why with the Olympics, the only player that really looked good was LeBron and one other guy that just so happened to be able to find 20-something points. Sometimes it was Edwards, sometimes it was Steph, sometimes it was KD, but it was always just one other person and LeBron.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have to say, man, I think I give you guys props, man, on that. I can't even watch TV no more because no one's really being objective. And so I'm glad that you guys have that platform and you have a lot of different cats that come on your platform and have different points of views. And but I just feel like this is the most objective as far as sports analysis that's out there, man. So I just want to give y'all props.
Oh, man, that's dope, man. I appreciate that, man.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, thanks. Yeah, that's do a late show and get a compliment, man. I like that. That's dope.